There are a lot of weapon mods in 7 Days to Die, but the problem is a lot of them don't tell you directly what they do, say statistically. Instead they just have a little text description, and honestly some of these are completely wrong. So I went into the game files and found out what every single gun mod actually does and ranked them based on that in this video so that you can decide which mods you want to use for your weapons. I've also thrown in drone mods and bow mods because I wouldn't have wanted to make a separate video for those, so they're just in here. I will be making a similar video for the melee mods and the armor mods, and I will also find a place to put the vehicle mods in one of those videos as well. So if you want to see any of that, then hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 100k by the end of the year, and you guys are killing it. Anyway, that out of the way, let's jump in. Our worst gun mod is one that, as far as I can tell, is mostly a net negative to all the weapons you can put it on, and that is the sawed-off barrel mod. This mod reduces your maximum range by 15% and increases spread by 20%. This has no real benefit because, unlike a later mod, it doesn't help you do anything but miss the important parts of the zombies more often. F tier. Its brother, the duckbill mod, isn't much better. It reduces vertical spread by 45%, but increases horizontal spread by 75%. This, at least hypothetically, has a point. It redirects all your pellets so that they will hit a group of zombies with all headshots, instead of wasting more shots on the body. It's very situational. E tier. Our other E tier gun mod is the flashlight. I am pretty biased against any mod that has to take up a slot just to give me the ability to see in the dark. 7 Days to Die, in my opinion, is never that dark of a game anyway, and I play on default brightness. Don't waste a mod slot on something as boring as a flashlight. Next we have the barrel extender. This does a lot of things, so listen up. 20% more range, 5% better aiming accuracy, 5% less horizontal recoil, but it comes at the cost of 10% worse hipfire accuracy, 10% more vertical recoil, and 8% slower crosshair reset speed, meaning your shots need to be more spaced out or you have to suffer an accuracy penalty. The main benefit of this is that it has a higher max range, C tier. It's just not all that useful compared to better mods. Next, we have the 2 and 4 times scope. Each gives a 2 and 4 times magnification, of course, but they also give a 10 and 18% better spread when aiming, respectively. Now, this is good, but there is just a complete better option that you should use instead, so these are going to be C tier as well. The retracting stock mod gives 15% less hipfire spread multiplier, meaning it's more accurate to hipfire over longer periods of time. Not immensely helpful, to be honest, but it has its uses for machine guns. Also C tier. For our first B tier, we have the muzzle brake. 25% less vertical recoil, 15% less horizontal recoil, and 8% faster crosshair reset speed, meaning you can be more accurate more quickly. Pretty good. There are better options though. The suppressor gives 20% less range and 15% less damage, but they do make your gun almost silent. If you max out urban combat, you only take the range penalty, which makes it a lot more useful. Overall, this makes you make less noise and generate less heat, so you'll have less screamers over the course of big POIs. If you have the urban combat book, I would say this is a B tier, otherwise don't use it at all because the damage penalty just is a downgrade. Now, the reflex sight is a 30% faster crosshair reset speed, making chaining shots easier and more accurate, and you get an optic which is usually better than this game's iron sights, so that is also going in B tier. The single and burst trigger group mods are also in B tier. Both raise fire rate by 10%, but also increase the spread over time by about 5%. In return, your gun is locked to single or burst fire. These are useful on already burst or single fire weapons because it's just a 10% fire rate boost at no real cost, but bad on full auto weapons unless you distinctly want to be single fire with those for some reason. The cripple mod gives a 5 to 30% chance, depending on quality, to cripple humanoid zombies. Decent enough, but if you really want to slow them down, use a shotgun or actually just blow their legs off directly. Guns are very good at that kind of thing anyway. Now, the laser sight gives a visible red laser, which can be useful for aiming, but it also reduces your hipfire spread by 20% and allows your crosshair to reset 20% faster, again allowing easier chain shots with more accuracy. This is an A tier, and it's actually very worth going out your way to craft, especially since the only thing it actually isn't compatible with is a flashlight, so it's just a net benefit. You're not making a choice between this and something better, it really is just this. Another A tier here we have is the hunter mod, and this gives bonus damage to animals. This is of course very situational, but if you are going to fight an animal, of course, put this on your weapon. Now, it should be noted, it only works against living animals, which is not including zombie dogs, zombie vultures, zombie bears, dire wolves, and all that kind of thing. But if you're going hunting for some mountain lions or alive bears, make sure you use this. The 8x scope gives 25% reduced spread and up to 8x magnification, but it's better than the 2 and 4x because you can use the scroll wheel to reduce the magnification to whatever you want anyway. So this just gives you more potential magnification and the best spread reduction by a significant margin, making the others largely redundant. These optics, by the way, do also work on crossbows, which is very useful to remember. A tier. The full auto trigger group increases your fire rate by 12%, but it also increases your incremental spread by 6%, aka it's less accurate over time. 12% faster fire rate and turning your gun full auto is also very good though. A tier. The bipod reduces aiming spread by 9% and gives you 35% faster crosshair reset speed when aiming down sights at the cost of 5% worse spread when moving or hip firing and 5% slower crosshair reset speed when hip firing. This is of course excellent for any sniper class or any aiming down sights driven playstyle where you're always going to be aiming anywhere. It's going to be A tier for that playstyle, but like F tier for everybody else, because a lot of guns are actually much better when used hip fire and built towards that, but sniper rifles, they like this mod. The shotgun choke simply reduces the spread of your shotgun by 40%, allowing more of your pellets to hit in a smaller area, aka the head, or allow your shotgun slugs to just be more accurate. A tier, amazing, always put it on a shotgun pretty much. The magazine extender gives between 10 and 60% more magazine capacity depending on quality. Obviously extremely good. A tier. The shotgun tube extender gives between 2 and 12 more shots on a pump action shotgun specifically. Only useful on one specific weapon, but for that weapon it is an A tier, if not S tier itself, but I think it does deserve a slight penalty for the fact it works on literally one weapon in the game. The last two gun-specific mods are the foregrip and drum magazine, and these are both going into S tier. The foregrip reduces hipfire spread by 15%, makes your crosshair reset 13% faster when hip firing, but 8% slower when aiming, which is so bad for snipers, but it does reduce all recoil by 50%. This is hugely helpful for one single mod to give you all these different effects, whereas a lot of other mods in this list will do that one thing specifically, oftentimes worse than this. This is just always a good thing to slap on any weapon you intend to hip fire at all. S tier. And the drum magazine, of course, increases your magazine capacity by between 50 and 100% depending on quality, and reduces your reload speed by 25 to 0% depending on quality as well. So a level 6 one has no downsides, and that is going to be an S tier as well. It's an amazingly useful mod for any magazine fed weapon it can be put on, especially things like the M60, the auto shotgun, the SMG, and even like the pipe machine gun gets a real buff from this. And another S tier here is the rad remover mod. Of course, this gives you about 90 seconds of blocking elite zombie healing. Elite zombies are radiated zombies and higher, and they have a natural health regen over time. If you shoot them with this just once, it will stop their healing for up to 90 seconds, which is more than enough to end most fights anyway, and it'll save you a few shots with every radiated or infernal or charged zombie that you fight. It's worth noting as well, the hunter and the radiated mod can actually be added to melee weapons. I've decided to put them in the guns mod ranking video just for the sake of ease. Now, let's spice up a bit and switch categories for a moment, because all those weapon effects are boring me. How about we do some drone modifications? Well, the drone only has 6 mods, and they're very hit or miss. At F tier, we have the headlamp. Lights just aren't that necessary. At C, we have the armor mod and the healing mod, and the armor mod reduces the damage the drone takes by 50%, which is kinda whatever because nothing deliberately targets the drone, but you've probably seen your drone get hit by cop spit every once in a while and then forgotten about it and lost it. This will reduce that a bit. The healing mod only kicks in at 50% health, which is way too low to be waiting to heal anyway, and it takes 2 seconds to actually notice that you are on that health and then act. Plus, there's a 15-second cooldown, and if you're running away from whatever just put you to 50% health, the drone has to catch up with you. It's just easier to keep a painkiller on your hotbar and get near instant health in a bad situation, and use this drone mod for something more practical. In B tier we have the stun mod and the morale mod. The stun is honestly hit or miss again. If there's one direwolf coming towards you, the drone will swoop in and put it in its place, letting you get headshots or run away, get to your vehicle, whatever you want to do. But if there's 13 zombies chasing you, it means absolutely nothing to have the drone shock one of them and then wait like 10 seconds to even do it again. And the damage it does isn't even going to help you in that situation. It's really just the stun. And half the time it flies off into the stratosphere chasing a vulture you can't even see, which is extremely frustrating if you're trying to use it for cargo. Now the morale mod gives you 10% faster stamina regen, but by the time you have a maxed out drone with a stamina mod, I don't think stamina is going to be the biggest concern you have. Instead, at S tier, we have the cargo mod. Each cargo mod gives you 9 more carry capacity in the drone, and a level 6 drone can have 4 of these stacked onto it. That gives it 36 more storage slots, which is like having an entire other inventory basically, which is hugely helpful compared to any of these other gimmicky mods. It's a glorified backpack anyway, so just min-max the backpack. Okay, let's get back to some weapon mods. So let's cover the bow exclusive mods really quickly. The polymer string and arrow rest are both pretty much S tier for bows and crossbows. The string increases projectile speed by 5 to 30%, making hitting moving targets or far away targets easier, and the rest mod reduces spread by 15%, making the bow more accurate, which is more useful when you consider like a bow can't be given a foregrip. Many of the gun mods though, and even some of the melee mods, do actually work on bows and crossbows, and that was considered in their rankings. Anyway, when the melee weapons mod video comes out, it will be popping up on screen right now.